Make a move, Big Blue.
It really feels like the DC Universe is moving into a completely new era right now, because after all the huge reactions to Superman, the next big step is already happening with Man of Tomorrow. There is a bunch of stuff going on with this movie that makes it feel way bigger than just a normal Superman sequel. Between Lex Luthor returning, Brainiac finally showing up in live action, and all these new heroes being added into the mix, this movie is shaping up to be one of the biggest DC projects we've seen in years. So today we're going to talk about all of it, because there are so many details coming out about Man of Tomorrow and what it could mean for the future of the DCU. First off, filming for the movie has officially started, and that alone is exciting because fans have been waiting to see where James Gunn takes Superman after David Corenswet's debut. Gunn himself confirmed production had started by posting a set photo online, and even though it wasn't a massive reveal, people instantly started breaking down every little detail in the image. That's just how DC fans work now. Every tiny thing becomes a theory because everyone wants to figure out where this universe is heading next. The image itself was really interesting because it appeared to show filming at the Van Kull Department of Corrections. That immediately got people talking because Nicholas Holt's Lex Luthor is apparently still locked up when the movie begins. You can even spot his prison badge in the photo, which confirms he's still an inmate at this point in the story. But even though Lex is behind bars, it clearly doesn't mean he's out of the picture. In fact, it sounds like he's going to become even more important this time around. And the idea of Superman and Lex Luthor being forced to work together against Brainiac sounds incredible. Normally those two are complete enemies, but putting them on the same side against an even bigger threat could create some really intense moments. Lex is one of those characters who always thinks he's the smartest person in the room, while Superman is the symbol of hope and morality, so seeing them clash while technically being allies could make the movie feel very different from a traditional superhero story. Then there's Brainiac himself, who fans have wanted in live action for decades. DC has used General Zod a bunch of times, Lex has obviously been everywhere, and even Doomsday already showed up, but Brainiac somehow kept getting left behind. So finally seeing him enter the DCU feels huge. Lars Eidinger has been cast as the villain, and people are already excited because Brainiac isn't just some giant monster punching buildings. He's one of Superman's smartest and most dangerous enemies, and he brings this massive sci-fi scale to the story. What makes Brainiac so cool is that he's obsessed with collecting worlds and knowledge, so the stakes instantly feel cosmic. This isn't just about stopping a robbery or saving one city anymore. It's about protecting entire civilizations. That alone makes Man of Tomorrow feel much bigger than the first Superman movie, although it still sounds like Gunn wants to keep the emotional side of Clark Kent at the center of everything. Another detail people noticed in the set photo was the chessboard imagery and the combined Superman and Brainiac symbols in the logo. That sparked theories that Checkmate could play a role in the movie too. Now, if you watched Peacemaker Season 2, you already know Checkmate has officially been formed in the DCU, with Leota Adebayo helping lead the organization alongside characters like Emilia Harcourt and Sacha Bordeaux. So fans are wondering if this movie could fully bring that storyline into the larger cinematic universe. It would make sense because Gunn clearly wants the DCU to feel interconnected right away. Unlike the old DCEU, where things sometimes feel disconnected or rushed, this universe seems like it's trying to build relationships between shows and movies from the beginning. So even though Superman is still the main focus, there's a bunch of other moving pieces happening around him. Speaking of new additions, there's also the mystery surrounding Adria Arjona's character. Some reports say she's playing Maxima, while other rumors claim she could secretly be Wonder Woman. Although Gunn previously said Diana wouldn't appear in the movie, fans still aren't fully convinced because comic book movies love hiding surprises. And if Wonder Woman actually showed up, people would probably lose their minds. But even without Wonder Woman, the cast is already stacked. Hawkgirl is returning, Jon Stewart's Green Lantern is back, Lois Lane obviously has a major role again, and Frank Grillo's Rick Flag Sr. is also appearing. So this movie definitely feels more like a giant DC team-up event than a straightforward Superman sequel. And that's where people have started comparing it to Batman vs. Superman. Story-wise, these films sound completely different because Batman vs. Superman was about heroes fighting each other, while Man of Tomorrow is about Superman and Lex teaming up against Brainiac. But there are still similarities because both movies are basically using Superman as the launching point for the larger universe. That's something a lot of fans have noticed. Superman gets one big solo introduction, and then suddenly the sequel becomes this massive crossover filled with other heroes, organizations, and future setup. Even Superman 2025 wasn't fully a solo film because characters like Hawkgirl, Mr. Terrific, Guy Gardner, and Metamorpho all had pretty major roles. So now with Man of Tomorrow adding even more heroes into the mix, it really feels like Superman is becoming the center of the DCU instead of just starring in isolated adventures. And that's not necessarily a bad thing because Superman works really well as the character who inspires others to step forward. Another huge topic right now is Matthew Lillard joining the movie. This casting surprised a lot of people because nobody expected him to suddenly enter the DC universe. But once the news dropped, fans instantly started throwing out theories about who he could be playing. One of the biggest ideas is Ted Kord, the original Blue Beetle. That theory actually makes a lot of sense because Blue Beetle already teased Ted being alive, and James Gunn confirmed Jamie Reyes will continue in the DCU. So introducing Ted here could set up future stories while also giving Lillard a long-term role in the franchise. And Lillard would probably crush it as Ted Kord because he has that mix of comedy and sincerity that the character needs. He could totally play the experienced mentor figure while still being entertaining and fun to watch. Another possibility people keep talking about is Jay Garrick, the original Flash. This one is interesting because the DCU still hasn't officially introduced its version of the Flash yet, so having an older, wiser speedster show up first could actually be a smart move, and Lillard has that likable energy that would fit Jay Garrick perfectly. But the most exciting possibility might be Plastic Man. Years ago, Gunn and Lillard actually wanted to make a Plastic Man movie together, and now Gunn literally runs DC Studios. So this could finally be the moment where that dream becomes reality. And if you know Matthew Lillard's style of acting, you already know he could absolutely bring Plastic Man's chaotic personality to life. That's all we've got to say for today. If you want to stay in the loop with all the latest movie and series news, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and show some love with a thumbs up. I'll be bringing you fresh updates on upcoming films before they even drop, so make sure you're locked in. From royal high-level DCU and MCU breakdowns to the quieter rumors that don't always make headlines but often turn out to be true, we cover it all. Keep your eyes right here because if you truly love cinema, this is the channel you need to be watching.